Welcome to another edition of Wake Up America, Wake Up. Tonight, the first 100 days of President Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump's first 100 days can be defined by one big F word: failure. Failure on the economy. Failure on lowering costs. Failure on tariffs. Failure on foreign policy. Failure on preserving democracy. Failure on helping middle-class families.
And I know for some of us, the narrative that we've been hearing is that his approval rating has gone down, that he's making a lot of mistakes, that the economy is in turmoil. How much did we expect him to do in 100 days? And I get it. He made promises on his campaign speeches that he would end the war in a day, that he would bring the prices of eggs down in a day. But I knew realistically that that's not possible. And why did I know that? Because the opposition, the Democratic Party, was going to ensure that they were going to throw roadblocks in front of everything that he campaigned for. And it should be obvious to you now, after the first 100 days, that the Democratic Party has been hard at work not to work hand in hand with the current administration. The Democratic Party is so hard at work at trying to bring down this president that they've forgotten about you and I. Conservatives, Republicans, liberals, independents, and Democrats. Democrats that support the Democratic Party have been forsaken by this cult, and that's what they've become. They've become a party of hate. They've become a party that wants their supporters to incite violence in their protests, for civil disobedience. I mean, their narrative is very, very clear. They want to bring down the president because their expectation was that he wasn't going to win the 2024 presidential election.
And making a political comeback unlike any.
History this morning, 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday, that Donald Trump has won the presidency for a second time, this time after having served for 4 years, then disputing the 2020 election, and then, of course, rallying a mob to the Capitol to try to interrupt the peaceful transfer of power there. Americans deciding to send him back to the White House for a second term.
I had an opportunity to read a book by Dinesh D'Souza. It's called 2,000 Mules. There is a documentary that he created, also called 2,000 Mules, which I watched, but I actually read the book. And the book goes into a lot of detail. Now, I know that the media outlets had promoted the narrative that the election wasn't stolen, that it was the most secure, but that's not true. Once you read this book and you get into the nitty-gritty details of what D'Souza and his associates had found out about what happened during the 2020 presidential election.
In election intelligence,
True the Vote has the largest store of election intelligence for the 2020 elections in the world. No one has more data than we do. We identified in Atlanta 242 mules that went to an average of 24 drop boxes. But Philadelphia alone, we've identified more than 1,100 mules.
What is a mule?
Person picking up ballots and running them to the drop boxes.
This is not grandma out walking her dog. Bad backgrounds, bad reputations. They are interested in one thing, that's money.
And in no shape, in no way, in no time is that legal.
This is organized crime.
Do you have video evidence?
4 million minutes of surveillance video around the country.
Judge James Boasberg, a district judge from the District of Columbia. Well, he imposed an injunction against the president on a national scale. But keep in mind, he's a district judge. So he was overstepping. Why? Because he is an activist judge. What I would like to call a rogue judge. Just like all the other judges that have over 214 injunctions against President Trump's administration. It's unfathomable that this has been happening, and we're only at 100 days. And what about the lawsuits? I mean, look, I voted for President Trump. I voted on the campaign promise that he would secure the border. And guess what? Depending on who you talk to, 95 to 99.9% of the border is secure. Under the Biden-Harris administration, with their DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, they were telling us all the time the border is secure. The border is secure, but it never was. Secure. Because we have an estimated 18 million illegal aliens in the country. And not only that, we have corruption within the government that, thanks to the creation of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, we were able to look deep into federal agencies and find not only corruption, but waste, fraud, and abuse. And of course, the people that were screaming the loudest were the Democrats. You know why? Because your taxpayer dollars were being used to infuse their coffers, their pockets, to pay their lobbyists. And Republicans don't get off scot-free either, because we have rhinos, Republicans in name only, and some Republicans that are involved in the same waste, fraud, and abuse. And because President Trump does not run his presidency like a politician, but more like a businessman, and him bringing in Elon Musk, another businessman, to head DOGE, although Elon Musk does not run DOGE from the government perspective. There is someone who's actually in charge of that agency. Elon Musk is not in charge of it. He has a very specific task because he was appointed to do something with respect to looking at the records, looking at the agencies. I mean, they've discovered millions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse. A perfect example is U.S. aid. Now, USA aid have been funneling taxpayer dollars to fund foreign governments, fund programs for gender studies, or how to teach people to transition. Everything that the president has promised, he is trying to execute that. And I think with his cabinet, which I think is a dream team, he could accomplish it. However, the only way that he's going to accomplish and keep his campaign promises is if we, the people, at least those of us that overwhelmingly voted him into office, if we stop acting like a society that requires instant gratification. Okay, we appointed the president to run the government on our behalf, but it is still our responsibility to be involved in that government process. We have taken it for granted, the freedoms that we have given to us by the Constitution and our Bill of Rights, that we have forgotten that we have to be custodians, not only of the Constitution, but of the government that runs on our behalf. But all I hear is complaints. The biggest complaints, of course, are, well, he said he would do this on day one. He said he would end this on day one. Look, folks, nothing happens in one day. And running the government, either as part of the Trump administration or as a president itself, is a complex task that doesn't happen in a day. I personally didn't think he could end, for example, the war between Russia and Ukraine in a day. I knew that would not happen. And do you want to know why? Because I knew that the Democratic Party would put obstacles in his way, would run interference. I mean, take a look at what's happening with the border. The border is very secure now. But you have a lot of activist judges that are trying to overturn his executive orders. And some will say, well, why is he using the executive orders and not Congress? Again, it takes time. I'm a very patient person because I'm observing the problems and the issues that the president and his cabinet are going through. You have a Democratic Party that does not care about American citizens. They don't have the America First mentality. That's why you see them propping up people like Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia. They're going to die on a hill for this guy. And for what? He's an MS-13 gang member. He is a wife abuser. But why are they doing this? They're doing this despite the fact that we, the people, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, are expecting our government, to work cohesively for us. But the Democratic Party is not about that. And that's one of the major issues that President Donald Trump is running into. You see it every day. You have this Democratic representative from Michigan, Sri Thanedar, who is a nobody. And when you listen to this guy speak, he's introducing 7 articles of impeachment. When you ask him to explain what reasoning he has behind it, it's all bullshit nonsense. It's the same narrative that the Democratic Party has been spewing, that the media has been covering. But the fact is that Thanedar basically wants to make a name for himself. I mean, you've already had 4 Democratic politicians who were behind him walk it back and saying, you know what, we don't want to get involved in this. And you know why? Because his impeachment introduction against the president has no value. There's no foundation. And when you look at the guy, I mean, the guy looks like someone pulled a plastic face over him, and he's very ignorant of the Constitution, very, very ignorant, and he's making these wild accusations against the president out of nowhere. But you know why the Democratic Party is allowing him to do it? Because if he falls down, he's going to fall down on his own sword, and he's only doing it because he wants to make a name for himself so that people will vote for him come the midterms. The guy is a tool, okay? He wants to be part of the AOC and Jasmine Crockett crew, who are crazy. I mean, AOC, Latina X, or All Out Crazy, she is going to try to make a run for the presidency in 2028. And if any of you fools vote for her, when the country takes a nosedive, we know exactly who to blame. I mean, the congressman can't even take care of her own district. Crime in her district has gone up. Prostitution, drugs. And she's out there saying that she wants to fight the oligarchs? Yet she, who has said she doesn't take any corporate donations, is a liar.
We must fight the oligarchy that has created this nightmare. And that is why I have never taken money from lobbyists or corporations, and it's why I never will.
On behalf of Ernst & Young's clients like GE, Duke Energy, BlackRock, just to name a few. So when she stands out there promoting that she needs to plant a mustard seed among the people in the United States, it's not a mustard seed. It's a poison pill. Anyway, enough about Latina X. And then, but you have people like Elizabeth Warren, who all of a sudden has quiet down. I mean, she has been implicated in waste, fraud, and abuse too, just like Bernie Sanders has. See, what's going on here, folks, is that Democrats and rhinos, they want to control us. They want to keep us in servitude. Now, think about that word carefully, servitude. It should be the other way around. Congressmen, senators, politicians are supposed to work for us, are supposed to represent us and our values. But these sons of bitches have been getting rich off of waste, fraud, and abuse that Doge has discovered. And to think that under the President Obama's administration, who wanted to create something very similar to Doge, wasn't called Doge, but he admittedly has said that he wanted to look into government waste, but he didn't do it. It was just all talk because he's a politician. He was making a promise so that he can get people to support him. But President Donald Trump made the promise, and he created the Department of Government Efficiency, and he had posted Elon Musk to run it. Now, Elon Musk doesn't have a lot of authority other than he's just going through the books, folks. He's just doing discoveries. And people are saying, oh, he's stealing my information, and he's going to cut my Medicare and my Medicaid. No, he doesn't have that authority. I mean, you freely give out your email address, your personal information to credit card companies, to a lot of scams that are online, and you're not crying about that. And then you even bitch and complain that, well, Elon Musk took a loan from the government, paid it off early, paid it with a penalty for paying it off early, and with interest, and you're still not satisfied. You still think that this guy wants to take your information and make himself rich. While Tesla stocks are falling, he's still doing or trying to do the right thing for we the people. And when I say we the people, I'm talking about Republicans, independents, and Democrats, all of us. We are the people. And yet we're bitching and complaining about what the president, who promised to do these things and is delivering, maybe not as fast as some of us would like to see, but he is delivering a lot of those promises. But in order for him to be successful, we can't be an obstacle. We have to be involved. We have to hold politicians, judges, the Supreme Court. We have to hold them accountable for those things that they are doing, for that overreach that they're committing in order to stop this president from being successful. Because really, that's what it is. If you turn on the news, it's always a Democrat saying that the president is a failure, or he's doing this wrong, or people are hurting. We're all hurting. We've been hurting since the Biden administration. So what I'm asking for and what I'm telling you is, yes, it's been 100 days. Yes, it's been a rocky start, but you have to give the president an opportunity to make good on his promises. We can't become obstacles. We can't jump ship or jump midship while he's trying to keep all his promises. I mean, think about this. The border is secure, okay? The prices of eggs have gone down. Some of the tariffs and the agreements that he's been working on are going to bear fruit, but we have to be patient. We have to stop being this instant gratification society. We need to be adults, not children. He is fighting for all of us. He's fighting for everybody. So if I were to grade the president for the last 100 days, I would definitely give him a B or a B plus, because it's not that easy. None of you have any idea what it means and what it takes to take on a political party like the Democrats, who are spewing nonsense, and media outlets that are totally against you. We, the people, cannot turn our back on this president. We need to fight, fight, fight. The guy took a bullet for us. We owe him that much. We voted for him. I've been trying to, deliver the news about accountability issues, about social issues for many years. And even during the Biden administration, when I was shadow banned for the duration of President Joe Biden's administration, I was shadow banned. A lot of my content was moved to the bottom. But I withstood that. I was patient. I was hoping that change would come, even if that change wasn't going to be President Trump, which fortunately it is. And my patience paid off, folks. My patience paid off because I went from, as of November 2024 till now, I had 8,000 people following me, following my content. And now I have approximately 35,000 people. And why did that happen? Because pussy asses like Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg knew that they needed to stop their shenanigan, blocking conservative speech, blocking MAGA supporters, blocking anyone who went against the narrative that the Biden-Harris administration and the media outlets were putting out there. Our freedom of speech was under attack, but it is no longer. And those of you people that support my page, that comment, they're actually going out there and doing something about it, that's proof. Now, they're going to continue to try to make President Trump look bad, without a doubt. But we need to see it for what it is. He is trying to keep his promises. There are a lot of things that he may not be able to deliver right away, but I'm pretty sure it's in the books and they're gearing up towards it. But it doesn't happen overnight, folks. That's not the way the government runs. The government, if you think about it, facilitates methods of correcting itself or correcting issues that we, the people, are undergoing very, very slowly. And you should be used to it. But that's the way the system has been set up, is for the government to function in such a slow pace that sometimes it takes years before you see the results. And because President Donald Trump said that he would do it in a day, that is your expectation. I mean, we're still waiting on the Epstein files. We finally got the JFK files, which under the first term of President Trump were promised, but we got the full files now. And we're learning a lot about waste, fraud, and abuse. We're learning about the corruption. About January 6th, a lot of that information is coming out. So as you can see, I think this administration is working overtime. And I'm not saying that this administration is perfect. There are disappointments. Okay, I've been disappointed. But I generally feel that this administration is going to do a whole lot better than that mess that we just recovered from the Biden-Harris administration. Yes, we the people deserve a lot, but I'd rather be patient and get the promises kept than to be impatient and create a turmoil in this country. Because that's what the Democratic Party is doing. So folks, hopefully, what I spoke about the 100 days of President Trump will make sense to some of you. Some of you will agree, some of you will disagree, and that's okay. Because that's what it means to have a First Amendment right. That's what it means to have free speech, that we can agree to disagree. So if I'm not perfect, I don't expect you guys to be perfect. But what I expect you to do is to be patriotic, is to be patient, is to be we the people. So wake up, America, wake up. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay we the people. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.